When the Green Bay Packers lost to the Philadelphia Eagles, it looked like they were one or two impact players away. And then in the offseason, they didn't actually find any, at least that we know of.
You are Locked On Packers, your daily Green Bay Packers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Packers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Peter Bukowski, and I cover the Packers for The Leap, a newsletter I would love for you to subscribe to. Follow me on Twitter, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on Twitter, Locked On Packers. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to the podcast to iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts, you will find Locked On Packers, the #1 Packers podcast on the internet. And the show for fans who know what happened, they want to know why and how. Thanks to everyone who makes Locked On Packers their first listen every day. We hope you like starting your day with us as much as we like starting our day with you. The Green Bay Packers needed field tilters. It's why earlier in this offseason, I advocated for T. Higgins. It's why I advocated for Trey Hendrickson. It's why I advocated for DK Metcalf. This was already a complete roster in that there really are very, very, very few, if any, true holes when it comes to, okay, that position is just like, that guy stinks, and I don't know why they didn't upgrade that spot. That doesn't really exist on this team. And there are even the best teams usually have a place or two where you're like, so what's going on there exactly? Particularly if the Packers do, in fact, mend the fence with Jair Alexander. Then you're looking around and kind of going, well, okay, you'd like to get some more impact play from a couple different places, but they're good everywhere. I don't know if that's going to be enough. And I do think it's worth circling back on that, because one of the reasons why I didn't love the Matthew Golden selection is because I do think he can be an impact player, but I don't see A.J. Brown. I don't see Justin Jefferson. I don't see Jamar Chase. I see Jordan Addison. On the high end, maybe Devontae Smith. And those are good players, no doubt. But the Eagles don't win the Super Bowl if Devontae Smith is their #1 receiver. It requires having A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. The Packers don't have that. Now, you don't always need the two ultra elite receivers. The Chiefs almost went back to back to back without really any receivers, frankly. But they have Patrick Mahomes. They have Chris Jones. They have Travis Kelce. They have field tilting players, and Mahomes tilts the field, especially in the playoffs, as much as anyone else. So they're a little bit of a unique case. I was looking at and I know that this is, ultimately a frivolous exercise, but Pro Football Focus did their under 25 players. And the Lions had 5 of the top 25, under 25 or whatever the number was. The Packers didn't have any. The Lions have more high-end talent than the Packers. I think the Lions also have more flaws than the Packers. But they have more high-end talent. There's no doubt about that. At this point, I think there was some question coming into the season, but then Jameson Williams takes a big step. Jameson Williams took a huge step, and credit to Jameson Williams. Jahmyr Gibbs took a step. Jack Campbell took a step. They got real improvement from young players. Sam Laporta didn't, but Sam Laporta was still fine. He was still good. He wasn't as good as he was as a rookie. What do the Packers have? Where are their field tilters? Where are the guys who can change games for them? Or can you play this extension of your offense, this egalitarian style of offense? Can you just be One week it's Tucker Kraft. One week it's Josh Jacobs on the offense. One week it's, Xavier McKinney going to get 2 interceptions. One week it's Jeff Hafley scheming up blitzes. Can you win that way? The Packers are going to find out, or they're going to have to get the evolution of some of these players, and or someone like Nate Hobbs is going to have to come in and just be awesome. Like, we're going to go through some of the potential candidates, but it has to be either someone internally that develops, that takes that jump, whether it's year 2, year 3, whatever, or it's a rookie. I don't know that Aaron Banks really moves the needle on that. Like, I think he can be a force multiplier in that moving Elton Jenkins to center can allow you to fortify the interior. And then if you're Sean Ryan and then maybe Jordan Morgan competing there, like if you then lock that down, that can be a force multiplier for your run game, for your passing game, for everything. But you don't have Jordan Mailata. You don't have Penei Sewell. So that means you're going to have to manufacture opportunities elsewhere. Or you're just going to have to be so buttoned up every week that you can win 11, 12 games and then win in the postseason. That's tougher in the postseason. It's a tougher ask. And I think we're seeing this from teams like the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. They have really good rosters top to bottom. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, those guys are special at the quarterback position. They don't have field-tilting offensive players in the same way. Derrick Henry, no doubt, but he's a running back. James Cook, no doubt, but he's a running back. There's only so much that they can do. Each of those teams have some fine defensive players. Even Kyle Hamilton, that's an elite defensive player. But does he provide the game-altering plays in the postseason that you really need? Maybe he can. We just haven't seen it on a regular basis. He's not Ed Reed or Ray Lewis. I don't know that the Bills have anyone that's even in that category. Christian Benford's a nice player and Matt Milano's a nice player, but do they have guys who truly tilt the field? No, they require their quarterbacks to be Superman. And if the Packers are asking Jordan Love to be that, I think that's problematic. Now, I also think Baltimore and Buffalo have some deficiencies that the Packers don't. So that's part of how I think you can close that gap. Now, it's also a little weird to complain about being, and I'm not complaining, but to bring this up as a criticism when, the Ravens' consistent success in the regular season, they're AFC contenders, the Bills in the AFC Championship game. Like, the only reason they didn't go to the Super Bowl is because of Patrick Mahomes. And the only reason the Ravens didn't go to the AFC Championship game was because of Josh Allen. And so it's difficult to be like, well, the Packers, if they're in the same position as the Ravens and the Bills, then they're screwed. Like, that's not, no. They're in a really good position if that's the position that they're in. But Lamar Jackson is an MVP multiple times. Josh Allen is an MVP. Then you need Jordan Love to be an MVP, to be a contender. Now, maybe he can be. And in fact, he had like decent odds last year to do that. Couldn't stay healthy. If Jordan Love can elevate, and I think there's more out there for him, and the Packers think that too. Maybe having some better receivers, some more reliable receivers. There was a statistic I saw yesterday that no quarterback other than Anthony Richardson, the only quarterback who lost as much yards. Well, let me say this the way a human person would say it. Jordan Love lost more yards on deep balls to drops than any quarterback except Anthony Richardson. So that's why you go out and you spend draft capital on those guys. If you think Jordan Love can elevate, this is Brian Gutekunst talking about controlling the game. If that's truly the next step, then the Packers are in that conversation with Buffalo and Baltimore where you go, that team, that's a Super Bowl team. But then we got to see that from Jordan Love. Now, there are other players on this team who I think are capable of being those game changers that make it easier for a quarterback like, let's say, Jalen Hurts to go in a Super Bowl. I think Jordan Love is more talented, is better on balance than Jalen Hurts. But Jordan Love has way less talent around him. At least we think. At least for now. How can that change? Let's talk about it next on Locked On Packers. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds? If you've got a read on who's heating up, why not back it with a same-game parlay? Amp those odds, win some big-time money. How could a $200 bet in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first bet hits? How could you benefit? I mean, $200 would be nice in bonus bets. Wonderful. Thank you. I will take those. Yes, very much. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. If Jordan Love does take that step forward, you don't need as much from the other players. You still would like to get more consistent receiver play. Like, it's crazy. The Packers were a top 5 offense last year by DVOA, and their leading target getter led the NFL in drops. Like Dontavian Wicks, who didn't even have that many targets, but led the team in targets and ends up leading the league in drops. That can't happen. And yet the offense was still really efficient. If Jordan Love takes that step forward, then you don't need some of these other guys. If you just get a little bit more consistent offensive line play, which you're hoping to get with Elton Jenkins moving to center, and you get a little bit more consistent receiver play, maybe you can keep Jaden Reed a little bit healthier over the course of the season, keep him more involved, you get something from Matthew Golden. This offense is going to be really good again, and the defense was really good last year. And then situationally, you have a quarterback in Jordan Love who can control the game. On 3rd and 8, you got to have it. If it's not there, you take off and run, and maybe it's 4th and 3, or maybe you get the first down. Or maybe you second react, manufacture something. Those are the kinds of plays that the Packers are going to need from Jordan Love. How many times in a big spot does Josh Allen make a play with his legs? Does Patrick Mahomes make a play with his legs? Does Lamar Jackson spin out of trouble and make a throw down the field? Those are the plays you need from Jordan Love if your team is not going to be crazy loaded like the Eagles were last year. Now, if you just get incremental Jordan Love progress, if he's, let's say he was between 8th and 12th best quarterback in the league last year. Go back and look. That's a reasonable place to have put him, even with the injuries. By efficiency, he was definitely there. If he's between the 5th and 8th best quarterback in the league this year, like, okay, let's do the Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow. If he's in the conversation with the next group, and by the way, I think on balance over the last 2 years, he is in that conversation, but you go, okay, would you rather have Jordan Love or Justin Herbert from 2025? You'd like that to be the conversation, right? If you can do that, that might be enough, frankly. And he can get there. He absolutely can get there. He can be the guy that you go, he had the best quarterback season in the league this year. Like, that's possible for Jordan Love in his career. Is that going to be every year? I mean, look, in 2009, after the 2009 season, would we have said that about Aaron Rodgers? Probably not. And yet I pointed out on social the other day that their numbers through 32 starts are almost identical. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying Jordan Love's going to be Aaron Rodgers, but I'm saying he's been as productive. So what more is out there for him? I think a lot. But there's other players who I think can be filled tilters for the Packers. The first one that comes to mind is Tucker Kraft. I think he is ready to explode in year 3. The Packers want to get him more involved. This is an offense that we know has opportunities for the tight end. And I think that this is going to be clarifying this season because, Romeo Doubs is going to want to get his touches. Dontavian Wicks is going to want to get his touches. But they brought in Matthew Golden and Savion Williams to be impact players. Those guys are going to get opportunities too. And I think Matt LaFleur has to be a little bit more judicious versus egalitarian about where he allocates targets. Now, this offense is always going to be the ball find energy kind of team where it's like, if you're open, you're going to get the ball. And you may be the first read, you may be the third read, but if you're open, you're going to get the ball. And that is, I think, how every offense should play, frankly. But so Kraft can be someone who you go, that guy, Matt LaFleur, empowering Jordan Love to say, let's just find ways to get him the ball. I don't care if he's the third or fourth read on a play. Like, if you don't like one, maybe go find 85. And I think that's something that they can lean on a little bit more. Oh, just dump the ball off. How about just a little chip release to Tucker Kraft? Give him that option on every play so you can go 1-2, release. That is a viable way to play offense, given how good I think Tucker Kraft can be. Another option, offensively at least, Matthew Golden. I think more than Savion Williams, because Williams, I think, is going to be a manufactured touch player early on. I think he can be a vertical field stretcher. We talked about that last week. But Golden is the guy to me where you go vertical Z receiver. He is really the only guy on the team right now, given Christian Watson's health, that you would say that guy on week 1, I would trust him to go do that. I think you could have Savion like run fast down the field and have him be someone who clears people out because he is big enough, fast enough to do that. And I think he's going to catch some people this year. Like he did not have a quarterback at TCU who could make those opportunities a reality. He has that quarterback in Green Bay, but Matthew Golden is one of those players who offensively can take you there. I want to say Dontavian Wicks is 1-2. I want to say that. I just don't know that I believe it yet. I need to see it. Now, he's going to get some opportunities, but this is the year to show it. And I think this is your last year to show it. Because if it's not this year, it's not happening in all likelihood. Now, defensively, there's the obvious one. Edgerrin Cooper was tilting the field for the Packers at the end of last year. He was unbelievable to close the season. And he has the talent to be someone who defensively is wreaking havoc on opposing offenses. He has a chance to be the best Packers linebacker since Lombardi's Packers. I don't say that lightly. But the Packers also don't have the best track record of linebackers over the last 30 years. It's like Nick Barnett, AJ Hawk, 8 weeks of Desmond Bishop. There's not that many options. Blake Martinez was a tackling machine for a while, but was like never a true impact, high impact kind of player. That one season of Devondre Campbell. But Edgerrin Cooper can be so much more impactful game to game. And look, Campbell was excellent in 2021, but that defense was not very good. It can be the case that Edgerrin Cooper is both awesome and that the defense is awesome. And if Edgerrin Cooper is awesome, this defense will also be awesome. He's the big candidate on defense. The problem, and this is the Nate Hobbs thing. This is the not drafting a cornerback or a pass rusher until day 3 thing. Maybe the answer is just Jair Alexander, him coming back, but like I don't see that for Keyshawn Nixon. I don't see that for Carrington Valentine. I think Evan Williams, he's been on the show a lot. I love Evan Williams. Can he be that? I think we've seen flashes of it for sure. Or those first couple of weeks where he was the starter, man, he looked like he was going to be like a Pro Bowl player. He looked like he was going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's in there. I think he can do it. The rookie class from last year, all 3 of those guys, Bullard, Cooper, and Williams, have the chance to be, even if they're not, in the case of, someone like Javon Bullard, if you're a nickel corner or safety kind of hybrid player, unless you're Chris Harris, you're not going to be thought of as one of these elite players, but those guys are really, really valuable. Look how valuable Cooper DeJean was last year for the Eagles. Look how impactful Trent Murphy was, or my goodness. Trent Murphy was a pass rusher for Stanford, who did not do much in the NFL, I believe. If I'm remembering that right, I'm getting to the point in my life where like these are the things that I'm misremembering. Trent McDuffie is who I meant to say. L'Jarius Sneed. Like, we've seen these guys that can play in the slot and be outstanding and be really impactful. I don't know that, guys like McDuffie and Sneed have tried to play outside too. I don't know if Buller's ever going to be that. I think he is that hybrid nickel safety kind of player. But those players can be really, really good. And they can be really, really valuable. And I think he can be really, really good and really, really valuable. Unfortunately, I don't know that I see it with Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness. Like, I think those guys can develop into quality players, impactful players, but the kind of player that can take over a playoff game, I don't know about that. Now, we've seen stranger things happen. Like Preston Smith in 2019 in that Seattle game takes over the end of that game from a pass rush standpoint. In a year, he was good. He was solid, 10 sacks, I think, but a lot of one-on-ones. Like, could Lucas Van Ness have a season like that? Yeah, he could. No doubt. And if Lucas Van Ness becomes Preston Smith, that's a home run for the Packers. Like, I don't think Nolan Smith is suddenly some superstar player, but in a playoff game, he can have 2 sacks and look awesome on a couple of plays that are really impactful. That's great to have. Packers didn't have that last year, and they were still a top 10 defense by DVOA. So, in terms of true superstar potential, I don't know how many guys on the team have that. I think Jordan Love does. I think Edgerrin Cooper does. I think Evan Williams does. What we saw early on from him was so good. He was so good in camp. Like, I think we can be looking at a safety duo with X and Evan Williams, and even throw in Javon Bullard, where you're like, that's the best safety duo or safety group in the league. That's how good they can be as a collective. That this Packers team can have the best spine in the NFL with Quay Walker if he takes a step forward, with Edgerrin Cooper and that safety group. Like, that can be outrageously good. And then Jordan Love. I mean, Jordan Love can be a star, can be a superstar. I don't know if I see that for Matthew Golden. He can be really good. Like, if he's Jordan Addison, if he's Devontae Smith, and Jordan Love takes a little bit of a step forward, this team can win the Super Bowl. But now we're talking about a lot of ifs. It'd be nice to just have some high impact players. I don't know if they got them. We'll see if they need them. All right, I just want to follow up on the playoff discussion we had yesterday, because we have the official proposal from the Detroit Lions. And I have to say, it's pretty good. Remember, I said that there was some conflicting reporting about what the Lions' proposal would be with the playoff system? It turns out they just got it right. They just flat out got it right. They want everybody seeded by record, assuring the division champs get a playoff spot, and giving the division champs tiebreakers by record. So if there's 2 11-6 teams or 12-5 teams or whatever, the division winner, if there is one, gets the tiebreaker. I'm surprised that that's where we landed. I don't know that it's going to pass, but that is wonderful, because that is the best system. You diluted it. You had some issues. This is a quality fix. And I hope they pass it. I don't know that they will. Now, what's interesting is it seems like there is more broad support for the tush-push variation. And what the Packers have done, and we got the official language on all of this, is make it so you just can't hold up players. Now, I thought Albert Breer, or push them, had an interesting note on this. And that is, by the way, other teams definitely want this play out. Diana Rossini reported that she had a GM tell her that they think that the Packers, because they don't have an owner, were the ones that are doing this for the cover of other owners, because others owners don't want to put their name on it, which we've been talking about on this show for a long time. But what Breer suggested, and I think this was in conjunction with some conversations he was having with people in the league, is just blow the play dead. So there was an Eagles account that tweeted the Tucker Kraft sneak against the Eagles that worked. And they were like, this would now be an illegal play. And I'm going, no, it wouldn't. Because all Tucker Kraft does is get in under center. His offensive line is lined up onside, which is like the most important piece of this. And then he has the first down. Now, he does get some help, the running backs. I believe Jordan Love even gets in there and pushes him. But he already has the first down. So when you do the illegal thing in this case, the play can just be blown dead. Now, that's going to add complications for the officiating because, they're going to have to try and guess. But they do that with forward progress anyway. And the reason that this was changed last time, 2004, 2005, they changed the rule in 2005 because it's so murky when a running back is downfield and you have an offensive lineman coming in to knock someone off the pile, for example. How can you differentiate that from just coming in and pushing the running back? Or maybe you'll miss your target point and maybe you call a play unfairly because you're trying to follow the letter of the law, but an offensive lineman just stumbles or they miss their aim point and they end up kind of pushing or holding up the offensive. Like there's reasons to be a little skeptical of the impact of this. But what Breer was reporting is they wanted to change the language. This is so NFL. The owners wanted to change the language so it didn't seem so petty. That's really what they wanted. They didn't want it to seem like they were just targeting the Eagles, which is what they felt like the last proposal did, that it was just like, this is all tush push related. And so it seems like they went to the Packers and they were like, hey, all right, guys, can you just like tweak this? So this is covering, like, let's just go back to the old rule and that'll fix this. And it'll seem like we're not really doing the thing that everyone knows we're doing. That's kind of what happened here, it seems. And I'm fine with that. Because this is not just about the Eagles. Yeah, if the Eagles were 20% less effective with it, I don't know that anyone would care. But it is the case that it's not really a football play. It's more of a rugby play. And there's a reason they went to the rule in the first place in 2004 about being able to hold and push. It's because it's just like that's not supposed to be the way the game is played. So they're going to try and, well, I guess we'll see. It sounds like this is going to pass. It sounds like they're going to ban it. And I'm glad because you can still run a quarterback sneak. I'm a little bit in shock, frankly, that the proposals were tweaked in such a way that they make more sense now than they did before. And that the most logical tweaks were applied. That's not very NFL of them, but that seems to be what's happened here. All right, back tomorrow as we roll through the off season. Hopefully you're having fun with your break from football. I'm already ready for it to be back. I'll be honest. I want to see these guys. I want to see Savion Williams play football. I want to see Marshawn Lloyd play football. I want to see, this. I'm going to see the eventual outcome of whatever's happening with Jair Alexander right now. I want to see all of that. Let's go. I'm ready. When's training camp here? Come on. I'm ready. Follow me on social media, Peter_Bukowski. Follow the podcast on social media, Locked On Packers. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe over on our YouTube page. Come watch us, hang out with us so you can stay Locked On Packers.